Sharan Burrow is ACTU President and she joins us in our breakfast studio. Sharan, good morning.
Good morning, Fran.
Sharan Burrow, what will determine whether or not this conference is a success or not, in your mind?
For us, it's jobs, jobs and jobs. We're in the eye of the storm with the global financial crisis, 5,000 people a week losing their jobs for up to the next 12 months. That's a disaster. Employment must be the benchmark of recovery, and along with employment and jobs growth, which we'll be looking to see what the Prime Minister has to say about today, we need to actually make sure that entitlements are strengthened. We're still seeing employers fundamentally rip off workers. When you're looking at 8 months now and growing of average unemployment, that's pretty shocking. Beyond those issues, we're looking to big agendas to lay the groundwork for a much more modern system of social protection, both in terms of downsizing hours and indeed losing your job. So
you want these discussions on the floor of the conference?
We want an indication that those discussions will take place beyond the conference. So entitlements, absolutely priority. Beyond that, let's move to a much more modern European system, but Australian design for social protection. You've seen this week we can tackle the big issues. The support for Australian companies, maximising Australian jobs, is a terrific set of practical measures, been in the wind for a long time, settled this week. The issues of occupational health and safety still for us critical over the next couple of days. We're seeing state ministers and the federals harmonise the OC health and safety laws. They've got to be of the highest standards. And then, of course, climate change, health, education, all big ticket items. And I think working Australians will be looking to Kevin Rudd's words today to see where he's going to take those issues in the next couple of years.
You mentioned the package of measures on the Buy Australia campaign, the $23 million of assistance for Australian companies to get into the purchasing business. But ACTU Secretary Geoff Lawrence was after more than that. He wanted a price concession for Australian firms on government orders. You haven't got that. Why is this off the agenda for the union movement?
That was never the critical piece. It was one small piece.
Why not? It's already ALP platform.
Yes, but when you look at the measures, Fran, what we were about was access for Australian companies, maximise Australian jobs. It goes way beyond $23 million. When you look at the reform of the tendering process, the transparency, and then the support for Australian companies, we know that it will maximise Australian jobs and it'll be good for a campaign to buy Australian both here and abroad.
One fight that does seem to loom is a call for gay marriage to be legalised, and I read in the paper today the Prime Minister has intervened and told the factional leaders not to vote for change on this, to allow gay marriage. What's the point of a conference when A, decisions made aren't binding, as we just mentioned, that 20% price concession is already in the platform and it's not adhered to, and B, decisions aren't even up for discussion? Do you agree with a move to make sure a motion on gay marriage isn't put?
Look, I think there'll be a lot of discussion over the next couple of days, and I suspect that the issue you raised, which I'm not engaged in, but it's one of human rights, will in fact be a very robust discussion right now behind the scenes, and it'll either be settled or there will be debate.
There is a question, though, about what is the point overall of a Labor conference these days, because governments of the day don't seem to consider themselves compelled to follow the platform.
Well, a platform is in two parts. Some of it's urgent and some of it you'll see will be urgent. The procurement measures, the issues around occupational health and safety I raised, the question of jobs and entitlements. For us, those things are urgent. The issues of health reform, and you'll see the nurses out there today with a call for investment into health, those things are critical. We'll be talking tomorrow about a range of issues at our own event. They're urgent and they should be respected now. But there are parts of the platform that are aspirational. You'd expect that. Australians would expect that. And they're the things you argue about over time. If we're going to see a much more modern system of social protection, if you're a worker in Denmark, you'll get up to 12 months of 70 or 80% of your income and a training guarantee and assistance back to work. That won't be done tomorrow, Fran.
And just finally, this whole question of political donations. Premier Anna Bligh is calling for a national ban on donations. Presumably that would catch up union donations as well. Do you support this?
Well, it's a matter for the Labor Party. The question of donations is one of the nature of the system about how you fund political campaigning. And
Are you worried, for instance, about the capacity for business leaders to pay money to get access to ministers?
I'm not particularly concerned about the donations piece, but it must be transparent and there must be regulations. John Faulkner, though, has a very tough set of measures in the Parliament, and they're really one for the political parties. For us as an independent voice for working Australians, we'll campaign around the issues that matter to us. That's our job. We're not the government, but we seek to influence government policy in the interests of working Australians.
Sharan Burrow, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.
Sharan Burrow is president of the ACTU, has been since May 2000, off to yet another ALP National Conference this morning.